7 years of support from AAUW and work by its lobby corps, in 1993, this historic act passes Congress. It is a labor law providing additional job protection. What is it? Family Medical and Leave Act, Americans with Disabilities Act, Migrant and Seasonal Agricultural Worker Protection Act, the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act.
Yay, the torture ends!
She doesn't get the prize even if she wins. The Committee on Educational Legislation recommended in which year that 1 or 2 alumni should be in each state capital to oppose all education bills of pernicious tendency. The year is 1899, 1901, 1903.
Okay, everybody, here are the answers. Now, we are on the honor system. Okay.
I sense collusion over here.
The answers. Question 1. The AAUW Educational Foundation, the answer is C, 1955. Okay? Now, make sure to keep track, mark them right or wrong, or whatever you're doing, so that you know how many you got right at the end. Okay. Question 2. First group of media professionals, the employer was Newsweek magazine, and the year was 1970.
We get half right.
Yes.
I got the year.
We can do partial, yes, half credit. There you go. That works.
There are several two-part questions.
Okay, and what was the first college university to become co-ed? Oberlin College. Women were admitted to the prep department in 1833 and at the college department in 1837. And the first 4 women earned them in 1841. Okay, next question. The UN Declaration in 1979 was the Declaration of the Rights of the Child. I looked at this question and thought, what? And then I remembered and went, oh yeah, I remember something about that. Okay, next question. And the question was long enough, I put the question on one slide. Who is this lady who started a school for girls in Daytona, Florida with $1.50 in her pocket, which was more than it is now. Mary McLeod Bethune. And the fledgling school she began with $1.50 and some crates became Bethune-Cookman University. And she was also known as an advisor to Eleanor's husband, FDR. Okay, next question. What was the AAUW position on IRAs and Social Security? They supported IRAs, which is no new news, but outside of and in addition to Social Security. So that was kind of the key.
What year was that?
1979. Yes.
Year is really important.
Okay, next question. Which first lady established the Washington Female Orphans Asylum? It was Dolly Madison. So not only did she create the social aspect, but she organized the asylum, and she donated money and a cow to start this orphans asylum. I thought that was interesting. And the context was that Washington, D.C. was burned shortly before this, and there were many, many children with no parents. And where did they go and what did they do? And she started, the important part, she created an educational environment for these girls to become useful members of society, learning to read and sew, learning to read. Okay. The U.S. Postal Service, the significance of Mrs. Sarah DeCrow is that she was the first woman postmaster after the adoption of the Constitution. We kind of hinted at that. Yeah, and look at that year. So, okay, next one. Who opened the first school of higher ed for girls, which still operates today? Emma Willard. She began teaching at 17, at age 20, she was running a school in Vermont. Who went there?
For a summer.
Heidi Morgan went there.
Okay, just the summer.
You can get on the internet and go look at the school, and there's much more wonderful information about Emma Willard. And it's still operating viable and has been continuously operating. So, okay, next question. AUW supported drafting women for women's branches of the military in the year 1947. Now, for those of you that can't read it, it says, oh,
You mean me, Uncle Sam?
yeah, it says, you mean me, Uncle Sam? You mean that I can
do more.
You mean that I can do more? I love this lady's pose. Okay. All right, next question. 11, the ERA. How many states ratified the ERA? We needed 38, we got 35. And by the way, the ERA has been reintroduced into every Congress since it failed ratification 28 years ago. We still have work to do. Okay, is the AAUW a permanent UN observer? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. And then who was the first woman in U.S. history elected to a congressional office? It was Jeannette Rankin. Yes, she was a lifelong pacifist and the only member of Congress to vote against World War II. And she is still the only woman to be elected to Congress from Montana.
And was she the governor or something of that state at one time?
I don't know.
Physical to her. Yep.
I read about her legislative career. I didn't read about anything about governor, but that doesn't mean she's not. Okay. From initial efforts in 1921, how long did it take for educational, Federal Department of Education? 58 years. 58. For those educators out there, doesn't that make you feel great? Okay. Yes. Okay. About what issue did AAUW publish a statement in 1953, which the year probably triggered a lot of answers? Communism. The Board of Directors issued a statement analyzing the communist threat to freedom and democracy and warning of the risk of losing liberties by the same means adopted to defend them. Okay, number 16. What UN goal did AAUW support? 100% worldwide literacy for women. By the year 2000, was the goal achieved? I think we all know the answer. Sadly, no. Okay, number 17. AAUW was instrumental in the passage of Title IX, and who co-authored this? Our very own AAUW, Patsy May. Okay. Number 18, the statement, women's clear educational achievements have not resulted in equal pay, was made in the year 2007. Sooner than I thought. I would not have picked this year. Okay. Number 19, after 7 years of support from AAUW and work by its lobby corps, in 1993, this historic act passes Congress. What labor law provides it? It's the Family and Medical Leave Act. Now, the ADA was passed the year before. That was a little tricky in 1990.
The babies in the picture are,
yes, the babies, the pictures you see here are my 2 children, and those were hospital pictures. And I put those up there because I was a beneficiary of the Family Medical Leave Act, and I took time with both my children from working full-time because of this act. And I'm really grateful to the shoulders on which I stand because of that. Okay, last question. The Committee on Educational Legislation recommended in what year the alumni should be in each state capital to avoid all education bills of pernicious tendency. Maybe we should have some in Indianapolis. 1899, 1901, or 1903. It's the year 1901. That was a tough one. Okay.